Hi everyone, welcome to Sanctuary Boston. We're going to sing some songs for you. Feel free to sing along. Stand up if you like, lay down if you like, make yourself comfortable, try out some new harmonies. Here we go.
2, 3. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with Spirit to guide us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise fighting for life, we rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with Spirit to guide us, rise, rise. A woman on the radio talks about revolution when it's already passed her by. Bob Dylan didn't have this to sing about. You know, it feels good to be alive. I was alive and awaited. I was alive and awaited for this right here, right other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from mystery. I saw the decade end when it seemed the world could change at the blink of an eye. And if anything, then there's your sign of the times I was alive and waited. I was alive and waited for this. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from mystery. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from mystery. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from mystery. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, there is no other place I wanna be. Right here, right now, watching the world wake up from mystery.
Well, I'm just here to introduce the chalice lighting. And our chalice lighter is in Florida, not late to worship, but here gonna lead us from afar. In the meantime, I'll say welcome to Sanctuary Boston, a community of vibrant worship and real connection, grounded in Unitarian Universalism and open to seekers of all kinds. My name is Matt, and I'm the Director of Community Life here for Sanctuary. And while we're setting up the chalice lighting, I'll just take a note to invite all of you online to take a picture of wherever you're joining us from. In our pre-service slideshow, we have lots of pictures of people at Sanctuary worship together, but all of those pictures, misleadingly, are of people gathered in person. And so one of our community members, Liz James, has asked to collect up pictures that we can include in that slideshow of you all joining us at home. So be sure to get the cats or the plants or whatever cozy pajamas or whatever setting you've got and take a picture at some point during worship. And I'll invite you to send those to Liz James, whose email will be in the chat box. All right, Cammie, I think we're ready for you in one moment. Alex, I'm just going to keep borrowing your microphone. Well, we have such a beautiful service planned for you all this evening. One of our community members, Ellie, will be speaking about the audacity of hope, which I'm looking forward to. Ellie also has prodded our music sphere at Sanctuary. We do a lot of different kinds of music, and we're always expanding it. And today, there's just going to be even more different kinds of music, including probably more punk rock than we've ever had in a sanctuary worship, which is very exciting. That's funny because something I've been doing in my free time lately has been to read up on the history of congregational singing. Spent a lot of time in archives and in the library reading up on it. And the space that we're meeting in here, one of our host churches is First Church Boston. And this church is like super old. And I was reading some of their archives, and some of the very first notes that they took in meetings are about singing and the music that they had. First, in 1651, they excommunicated is the word, a man named John Spur because he didn't like the singing in church. He also said that baptism was wrong and the covenant was wrong and the whole lot of them were a bunch of horrible hypocrites. But they also kicked him out because he didn't like the singing. And even with all those other things which seemed to me like maybe more important, striking to me that they really noted the singing. So I want you all to know that if you don't like the singing this evening, that's okay. We're not going to excommunicate you. And if you go home after this service and you talk smack to your friends about the singing that happened here, that's okay. We're not going to excommunicate you. And if you want to sing out, that's okay too. And if you don't want to sing, as we always say, that's all right. It was only a few years later then that Sister Hogue in 1657 was excommunicated for disorderly singing. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of rockin'. She was also, that wasn't her only crime either. She was also idle. But I was picturing, like, if someone is not doing enough work to meet the Puritan standards of how much work you should be doing, and your singing is too disorderly for the Puritans, that's probably someone I would want to hang out with. So, friends, we invite you to participate in this worship in whatever way your spirit needs. I hope the singing will get disorderly, at least a little bit. I hope we can rock it out. And
Was that good?
That was perfect. I was singing more like rocking out in the aisles and dancing and
okay.
and yelling a bit if you're so moved. But in whatever way you experience the music, in whatever way you experience the service, we want to invite you to bring your whole self this evening. This is a place for those who are going to sing disorderly or try out some new harmonies or rock out like you're alone in the car with the radio. This is also a place for those of you that need to just sit in silence tonight and soak in the sound of the room and take some deep breaths and find some stillness that may have been eluding you all week long. If whatever you need to take care of yourself, you need to go out and grab some food or lay down on the floor or dance in the aisles, it's all good here. This is a place to bring your whole self and a place where we're meeting from the many different journeys that we are on in our own spiritual lives. So let's welcome each other into the space made holy by your presence, and I'll invite Adele, our campus ministry organizer, to come lead us in our words of welcome. I want to invite you to read along for the whole thing or whatever words or phrases or fonts resonate for you.
Thank you. Okay. Whether you go to church on Sunday morning or light candles on Friday nights, whether you've been hurt by religion, saved by it, or some of both, whether you're brand new to spiritual community or a seasoned seeker, whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we welcome you. And now is the time of the service where everyone will greet their neighbor or someone far across the space. We like to ask that people try to introduce themselves to one new person, two new people, and also you can greet the camera, which I think is over there. I think I made the same mistake last time. It's over there. And if you're online, you can say hello and say wherever you're joining from in the chat. Thanks.
There is hope in our eyes when we truly see each other, like the light of countless stars. We are not afraid of the dark, 'cause there is hope in our hearts, and every single beat we feel it to the ends of the earth. Our echo carries on. We are sacred, we are strong. We are beautiful, we belong. Please hear our unheard song. There is hope in our voice when we listen to each other. Barriers disappear with every story told. We are sacred, we are strong. We are beautiful, we belong. Please hear our unheard song. There is hope in our eyes when we truly see each other. We raise our flag, lift our voice. This is our moment. We are sacred, we are strong. This is our moment. We are beautiful, we belong. This is our moment. We are worthy, we are true. This is our moment. There are no borders from this view. Please help us raise our flag. There is hope in our eyes when we truly see each other.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm down. Good evening, Sanctuary. Good evening. believe it or not, I struggle with hope sometimes. Actually, a lot of times. I pride myself on smiling, on finding a reason to believe, on scrounging up humor from the scrap heap of life. But 2023 was crushing. Particularly October, November, December. Being a part of something that you cannot control, of seeing those around you or far from you eschew nuance because of emotions, fear, slogans. I'm not sure how any of us got through it. Hope can be absurd. We had 2020, 2021, 2022, and then 2023. And now that it's January, I ask, what fresh hell awaits us in 2024? Who here is disappointed in a system or a structure that they're involved in? Whether that be a school, employer, the institution of marriage, whatever it is. Wait, sorry, can I see the hands again? I didn't pay enough attention. Okay, incredible. For those of you online, that was like everyone in the room. 98%. It was, or 100, I don't know, but we were there. Me too. I want to start us off with a story. This past summer, I worked at a sleepaway camp for queer teens for a couple of weeks. We knew there would be joy, beautiful queer joy. We also knew that the violence of the world was inescapable. We had trans teens from Texas and other places who were facing legalized discrimination, and their parents were considering moving. We had to discuss active shooter protocols during staff training. We knew that there was a reason that the campground's location was not public, and it seemed like it was the heyday of anti-trans bills targeted at these very children. And there were, of course, internal struggles within the camp, multiple concerns about bullying. These are teens after all, depression, trauma turned transphobia, eating concerns, etc. And with all of this as a backdrop, we were concerned about the cohesiveness of the camp. Okay, now I don't know rock or punk music very much, so forgive me here, I'm trying. There's a rock band called My Chemical Romance. It was popular when I was a teen and even younger, and it seems to have a staying power with certain groups due to its relation with the emo subculture. Okay, saying that felt very academic. I would apologize again, but trying to apologize less, I think, is an important thing. And also just fantastic music. I'm excited. So their 2006 album called The Black Parade, it's a concept album about a hospital patient who is dying and reflecting on life. And one of the songs is entitled, Welcome to the Black Parade. And it is just teeming, chock full of theology, of Christian or otherwise salvific symbolism about death and resoluteness. It's a powerful song. And during the talent show at camp, one of the campers performed this song. And during the song, a number of campers saluted during the slow, somewhat somber intro. And then, danced or sat down or otherwise changed what they were doing when the tempo picked up. However, one camper took it upon herself to stay saluting the whole time. It's as if she was holding a vigil for the broken, the beaten, and the damned. A day or two later, we had queer prom, and Welcome to the Black Parade came on. And keep in mind, it's prom, so the night had already been rife with drama, new relationships, ending relationships, etc. And during the song, every single camper did the same thing. During the intro, all of them saluted. And then when it picked up, they all marched in a conga line behind each other, one continuous line, saluting together. The dancing, moving around, they're all just saluting and marching together. All of the adults, we were all floored. I literally wept at the beauty of the moment. There I am, mental health staff at this camp, and I'm just crying. It was so beautiful. All three of us on the mental health team stood there with our mouths open, unable to speak. In the midst of the tumultuous camp and this tumultuous world, the kids were in unison. They were in solidarity. They were marching together. While the Black Parade symbolizes death, it also symbolizes hope of afterlife, of future. The marching of the campers wasn't heavy with death, it was joyous. They were marching for the broken, the beaten, and the damned. They were marching for themselves. And to the adults, it felt like they were marching for us. We showed them hope that there is a future for them, that there are queer and trans adults, that they can make it. And likely without knowing it, it was their turn to show us hope. That the world that sends us reeling from decimated dreams will not take their hearts. That they know they can carry on and their community will help them do so. Nowadays, this is one of the moments I turn to when I lose hope. The youth. All those beautiful people back there. The kids will be okay. The campers were audacious in their hope, simply audacious. They refused to give in to despair. They knew the world was targeting them and would continue to target them, but they resolutely saluted and marched. I think I missed something. That the camp director said that I've never seen something like this before. And I have a theory why they said they've never seen this type of thing before. And I think that in 2023, hopelessness was extra high for those kids. The right-wing culture wars targeting the queer community, kids, particularly queer kids, had really ramped up. When hopelessness is at such a high level, it may inspire hope. I'll repeat that. When hopelessness is at such a high level, it may inspire hope. Okay, I can't change this system, but I can change something. I cannot stop the trans hate, the discriminatory bills, but I can impact a trans kid. Show her she has a future. That's the mission of camp. We can't change the world, but maybe we can change someone's world. The message of this is do not give in to despair, even though it's kind of easy. Yes, you cannot do everything, but there is always something you can do. Church or denomination bodies, for instance, preach hope and may let us down. Yet there are still meals being served and people being fed. Former President Barack Obama, whose book this reflection accidentally shares a title with, ran on hope and change. Later, many folks felt let down. Yet he still did do good things and showed America that it was possible to have a black leader. There is hope in these things. If we throw out broken institutions, we must be careful. Are we throwing out hope too? If we throw out broken institutions, we must be careful. Are we throwing hope out too? This is a concern I have with social movements. When I think about Gaza right now, I feel desperate. There is nothing I can do. And I felt depressed and stuck in that. I also know that depression cannot sustain us. Desperation, I meant. That's a funny slip. Desperation cannot sustain us. It cannot save us. But hope can sustain us. It can save us. Desperation cannot sustain us. Hope can sustain us. Activists in social movements or social service workers like myself, in many other professions, we get burnt out when we lose hope. Losing hope equals burnout. When we feel ourselves losing hope, we must be like those campers and refuse despair. We must refuse despair and pivot to something else, something more hopeful. Perhaps something we can control or attempt to influence. Is there something more local you can get involved in? Can you inject joy into a movement? Are you seeing a friend give in to despair? Do you have hope yourself? There is an olive farm in the West Bank that acts as a peace-building and nonviolent resistance center known as the Tent of Nations. The Palestinian Christian family that runs the farm plants olive trees, among other things, which take a while to mature. A while ago in 2002, settlers came to their land and uprooted hundreds of trees. The Palestinian family, the Nasser family, they replanted them. And after maturing, they were bulldozed by Israeli authorities in 2014. They replanted the trees again. Around 2020, most trees burned down in a fire that appeared intentionally lit. The Nassers again replanted them. Family member Amal Nasser even told the BBC, "We refuse to be enemies." The Nassers know they cannot change the government, they cannot change Israeli policy, but they know they can change something by planting a seed. Quite literally planting the trees as resistance, but also planting seeds in those visitors who come for workshops and the wider populace who sees the peaceful mission of the Nassers, that they are not enemies. The Nassers persist, saluting in the face of remarkable odds, siding with the broken, the beaten, the damned, refusing despair. They will carry on because they are hopeful and not giving in to despair. They will carry on. Reading a 2014 excerpt from the BBC, quote, "Palestinians have a word that captures this refusal to be provoked or demoralized. Sumud, S-U-M-U-D. I might not be pronouncing it correctly. Sometimes translated as steadfastness. Sumud describes the stubborn, patient determination to stay on the land and to carry on in spite of all the difficulties of living under military occupation, unquote. Daher Nasser, another of the family members, says in that BBC report, "I will plant more trees, double the trees." Amen.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, "Son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned?" He said, "Will you defeat them, your demons, and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade." When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, "Son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned?" Sometimes I get the feeling she's watching over me, and other times I feel like I should go. And through it all, the rise and fall, the bodies in the streets. And when you're gone, we want you all to know we'll carry on, we'll carry on. And though you're dead and gone, believe me, your memory will carry on, will carry on. And in my heart I can't contain it, the anthem won't explain it. A woman sends you reeling from decimated dreams. Your misery and hate will kill us all. So paint it black and take it back. Let's shout it loud and clear. Defiant to the end, we hear the call. We'll carry on, we'll carry on. And though you're dead and gone, believe me, your memory will carry on, will carry on. And though you're broken and defeated, your weary widow marches on and on, carry through the fears. Oh, disappointed faces of your peers. Oh, take a look at me, 'cause I could not care at all. Do or die, you'll never make me, because the world will never take my heart. You can try, you'll never break me. You want it all, you want to play this part. I won't explain or say I'm sorry, I'm unashamed. I'm gonna show my scars, give it cheer for all the broken. Listen here, because it's who you are. I'm just a man, I'm not a hero. I'm just a boy who's meant to sing this song. I'm just a man, I'm not a hero. I don't care, we'll carry on, we'll carry you're dead and gone, believe me, your memory will carry on, will carry on. And though you're broken and defeated, your widow really marches on.
Do or die, you'll never make me, because the world will never take my heart. You can try, you'll never break me. You want it all,
We'll
you wanna play
carry
this part. Do or die, you'll never make me, because the world will never take my heart. You can try, you'll never break me. You want it all, you wanna play this part.
Well, that's a bit of a tough act to follow. Beloveds, as Ellie said recently, there's a lot of hopelessness in the world. Just watching the nightly news or reading social media reports can often be an exercise in anxiety and despair. So often I find people are taking sides on issues and just talking past each other instead of having a dialogue and trying to understand each other. So how do we get out of our own information silos long enough to really listen to each other? Well, tonight we are sharing our offering collection with an organization that provides us the hope that we can do that. The Movement Advancement Project, or MAP, as they call themselves, is an independent nonprofit think tank. It does rigorous research, creates insightful communication, and helps to provide for real understanding between people, and for collaboration, and for making meaningful policy change. The folks at MAP believe that to transform America, we need to change hearts and minds. This means that people need to understand the critical issues and better understand each other. So MAP conducts their research to really understand the audiences and the issues. And then they create the transformative messages that are designed specifically to shift people's thinking. They also believe that we are stronger together. MAP builds coalitions and partnerships, especially within the LGBTQ and democracy movements. They create clear, understandable graphics and narratives that they then give to their partner organizations to help as tools to drive change. Please help us tonight to help Movement Advancement Project to bring about real, meaningful change that will create the inclusive and equitable America where people have a fair chance at health, happiness, and safety by giving now as you are able. For those of you online, you can use the links in the chat to donate via PayPal and Venmo. You can find us directly at Venmo at Sanctuary Boston. If you've written a joy or sorrow card, now is the time to have that ready, and someone's going to come through and collect them. Thank you.
is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
We arrive together, bringing all of the joys and the sorrows of our complex lives with us this evening. Some of us arrive here wrestling with difficult things, feeling the pain of a broken world around us and within us. And some of us arrive full of blessings and brimming with gratitude. For those here in person this evening, we have these joys and sorrows. A joy from Bernadine. For this month, celebrating the birthdays of my husband, 2 awesome kids, and nephews. Happy birthday. A mixture from Joanna Lubkin. Grateful to have gone with a dear friend for chemo and that service dog Sully could offer her comfort and kisses. Holding Maya in prayer as she faces a really intense diagnosis. And a mixture from Phoebe. My dearest friends are doing great and wonderful things. I wish I could be with them to celebrate. Let's sing again.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
And we'd like to invite any of you joining us online to share any joys or sorrows you're carrying with you in the chat box. I'll share them out loud here from the mic, and if you would like me to keep them anonymous, you can message me directly. I'm Heather-Joys and Sorrows, parentheses, she, her. Message me at Heather-Joys and Sorrows. From Ed and Van. My brother was diagnosed with Parkinson's a year ago. Difficult to see what he is going through. An anonymous prayer. In addition to joining Ellie's prayers for the people of Gaza, praying for those held hostage for more than 100 days, for those called up to military service, whether they want to be or not. From Rosemary, I adopted my dog Stella in December. She's a joy each and every day. From Jerry Buckles, this song is so great. I sing it to myself as a great self-soother when I'm feeling low. From Augusta Davis, with deep sadness, we said goodbye to my grandmother Diane early this year. I feel so honored to be her granddaughter, the truest joy of my life. From Milo Plass, happy to have another interview coming up on Thursday and to have a good buddy to work on the job search stuff with a good support network. From Sarah Wider, grateful to Tayward for their companionship this past Monday, the anniversary of my parents' deaths. They both died on January 15th, just 2 years apart. I'll invite us to sing one more time.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all we rest in this love.
I want to lift up one more prayer that came in from Regina. So much concern for baby R starting chemo for a brain tumor. We'll hold all of these as we join in prayer. Holy One, Spirit of life and love, may we be beacons of audacious hope. In these times of great difficulty, as our hearts break upon hearing of the horrors of war, as we hear of cancer diagnoses and mark the anniversaries of deaths of loved ones, we lift up all of the fear and the anxiety and the heartbreak, and we also lift up the hope that we reach for, the hope that comes as seeds. Spirit of life and of love, in these times we plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not at the prudent gates of optimism, but a bold and audacious hope. Bring us the bold and audacious hope of queer youth saluting and marching. Bring us audacious hope in the form of olive trees planted. Bring us hope in the form of kisses from service dogs and birthdays, of remembered grandparents, of songs that sustain us, of animal companions, and of community that brings us hope and connection and joy and love. Spirit of life and love, may we in these times and in all times be beacons of audacious hope in our own lives and for one another. May it be so, and amen.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew.
Beloveds, we'll invite you now to sing again. And after we've sung one more time through together, we'll take a few moments to hum this melody. And as we hum, we invite you to light candles at any of the 3 tables here in the middle of the room. As you light a candle, take a moment to remember the light that is already within you, the divinity already inside you. And as you pass the taper to the next person, take a moment to connect with them and remember the divinity that arises in our connections and our community. Whether your own light this evening is just barely flickering or burning bright, we'll now invite our collective light to grow. We'll begin by singing once through together.
May sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary. Make us aware we are sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary. Aware we are sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are living sanctuary. Aware we are sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary.
My friends, may we be witnesses to the broken, the beaten, and the damned. May we refuse despair and in doing so find the hope that will sustain us. May we go forth and be audacious with our hope. Amen. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision, always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Mama said, fulfill the prophecy, do something greater, go make a legacy, create your destiny. Back in the days we wanted everything, wanted everything. Mama said, burn your biographies, rewrite your history, light up your wildest dreams, museum victories. Every day we wanted everything, wanted everything. Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. Had to have high, high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high, high hopes. Had to have high, high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high, high hopes. Mama said, it's uphill for oddities. The stranger crusaders ain't ever wannabes. The weird and the novelties don't ever change. We wanted everything, Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise and never come down. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise and never come down. Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of me. So I got one more run, and it's gonna be a sight to see. And I had high, high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high, high hopes. Had to have high, high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high, high hopes. Got to have high, high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a